All right, we're going to get political again, so don't get mad. I want to talk about the most recent shooting and loss of life in Minneapolis at the ICE protests. So, what you're going to hear from me is an overarching 30,000-foot view of what's going on and why it's good, why it's bad, and what's missing. What you're not going to hear from me is any sort of judgment or condemnation. So, let's talk about the specific incident of this man that just lost his life. In my opinion, the ICE officers are severely undertrained. As a jiu-jitsu evangelist, I would say that if you want to work in law enforcement, you should at minimum have your blue belt in jiu-jitsu. There were quite a few people there. I don't know if they were all men or if it was men or women. That doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. Trying to restrain this man. And when they heard a firearm go off, and they reacted to hearing that. He was killed. Okay. Now, I can confidently say that if somebody comes at me or I need to restrain somebody, I almost don't even care how big they are, but they're untrained, I feel very confident that I can do that. Every single officer out there should be walking around with that same level of capability and confidence. And the fact that they're not will lead to things like this, right? Now, again, as far as their reaction to hearing that gun go off, I wasn't there. I don't know if where the guy's hands were. I don't know if they couldn't see it or what was going on. They were clearly, I shouldn't say clearly, I would imagine that they were in fear for their lives. They didn't want to get killed. So in some degree it was self-defense. Now, hindsight being 2020, we can see that that wasn't the case. They weren't being shot at. Okay. So again, I'm not here to pass judgment on that whatsoever. But I do have to say they do need better training. It's not just them; it's all law enforcement. I mean, you can see videos all over the place of officers unable to restrain somebody. Now, talking about the other side of it for this man that was killed, I see a lot of people saying, "Man, why would he go to a protest with a gun? This is supposed to be a peaceful protest. Why would you need a gun?" I've seen a lot of actually, probably more Republicans and conservatives saying this than anybody. Well, I have to say that argument is stupid. You're on the wrong side of that argument. Anybody that conceal carries a weapon, you bring it with you everywhere. I mean, you bring it with you so that you can defend yourself and those around you. And where are you more likely to encounter violence than a quote unquote peaceful protest, right? Now, people say, well, he went there with intent to kill. Would you have said the same thing about Kyle Rittenhouse? I don't think so. Okay. And I don't think Kyle Rittenhouse did either. But anyways, I don't want to dwell on that too much. I just think that's a really stupid argument. That man had every right to be there and he had every right to carry a firearm, right? As long as he was doing it legally. Now, let's talk about should he have been there? Well, you have every right to peacefully protest. If he felt convicted to go out there and do that, then sure, by all means, right? The problem is that I don't think he should have been there, not because he didn't have a right to. I don't think he should have been there because I think the cause is stupid. The video I talked about yesterday, we talked about dealing fools. And I understand there are a lot of people right now that think I'm stupid for having that opinion, and that's fine. But when we had multiple people, big headlines, or they should have been bigger headlines than they were, that were killed, mainly young women, by illegal immigrants. And that's where a lot of this is coming from, right? This crackdown on illegal immigration is coming from a systemic problem that we've already had. And I understand that people didn't protest against that because, like, oh, well, this is one off. Those are just individual bad people. And it didn't feel systemic. But that's not the case. That issue is systemic. And this is the response from the administration to deal with it. Now, are they going about it the right way? I don't know. Frankly, I haven't looked into it enough. I think we all support rounding up the really bad guys and getting them out of here. I understand that there are some guys that the only thing that they've done that's illegal is they're here illegally. They probably stole somebody's identity to get a job. I mean, they're committing a lot of felonies. So I'm not trying to like give them a free pass here. But I also understand like the dreamers, right? The people that they were brought here when they were 6 months old, they're all otherwise American. Like I have a heart for those people. So I'm really not making a claim one way or the other here. But I just have to say that the fact that that guy was there protesting ICE, interfering with what they were trying to do, it's not helping anything. We have to be wise about how we attack evil in our world. So if you feel like what ICE is doing is evil, then absolutely do something about it. But we have to be smart. We have to be wise about how we apply our efforts. So again, should you never go out and peacefully protest? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I whatever whatever interaction happened where that guy's being restrained on the ground, clearly something went wrong. I don't think that ICE just randomly walked up to some dude and threw him on the ground that was just peacefully protesting. Again, I don't have all the information, but um, as far as my conservative friends out there, let's just lower the temperature a bit. Let's stop making stupid arguments for political reasons. Let's lean on truth. Let's lean on faith. Let's see what the Bible has to say about these things, and let's lean on that. If you're not a believer, I would still highly suggest you read the Bible. I mean, we all have to work off of some sort of playbook to make these decisions, and if we're all making up our own rules, we'll never come to an agreement on something. For my liberal side of the aisle, my Democratic friends, I would just say let's examine the world as a whole. Is this the biggest issue that's plaguing the United States right now? Maybe you think it is, and that's fine. But what is the best way to go about it? Let's use some discernment, try to gather some wisdom. And if you want to make some change, run for office, talk to your politicians, um, you know, organize a peaceful protest, but maybe don't do it where you're impeding officers. I mean, that is illegal, right? So, anyways, I probably pissed a lot of people off, but that's my thoughts. That's my opinions. Read your Bibles. It'll help. We'll see you soon.